Hi, welcome back to Thursdays with Culture Talk. It's Cynthia, and
Teresa.
yay, we're back. Wanted to talk today about another article that just came across our desk. It's actually put out by Education Week, and it is a special report on the future of work. It's a beefy read, and it's based on a survey that Education Week did with leading executives in a couple of different industries. So information technology, automotive, consulting, hospitality, transportation. And the question that they posed to these executives, many of which were like hiring managers, chief HR officers, VPs of talent, was what skills should we be preparing students with in order to enter the workforce and come in with the right skills? What kind of skills? The title of it actually is Top US Companies. These are the skills students will need in a post-pandemic world. And it's actually a really fascinating read. It talks a little bit about, pace of change, VUCA world, remote work, digitization, the digitization of the workforce, and all of these kind of super techie things that are happening right now. And against that backdrop, what each person that was interviewed as part of this article got talking about was how all that environment that people are stepping into in the world of work requires knowing themselves, requires a certain level of self-awareness, a certain level of being able to center themselves, to know what motivates them, to become self-motivated learners, someone who's open to growing, open to other ideas, open to diverse workspaces. And what is teamwork? I mean, all of those things are required for teamwork. So I'm ticking off the list, being self-motivated, resolving conflict, fostering inclusiveness. Those are some of the things that hiring people in large organizations are saying to today's educators. We need you to prepare students to step into work with these skills. So I always find that to be a fascinating thing. It's like sometimes the soft skills, as they're known, are actually the harder stuff in a business to get our arms around.
Yeah. Well, what was super cool was the experience that we just had, because we just came off of a call with our community, the Culture Talk community, and we kind of tossed the question to them. What does this look like in practice? So how do we transition into the employment experience and the work that the community is doing with companies and organizations and make it real? And so it was really fun to hear their reflections. People that are both working at the university and even at the K-12 level, and those folks that are bringing the ideas into companies. So I think one of the biggest takeaways that I heard was thinking about this systemically. Instead of trying to solve it sort of like, one department at a time, like whose responsibility is it? There's this great opportunity now because of new positions that have been created, new titles that we're hearing out there, where it's, a real corporate level position of, the chief learning officer maybe, or the chief people officer. What were some of the ones that you heard?
Chief experience officer.
Chief experience officer. So these give us a chance to step back. And since we're being asked to think about these challenges, to really think about them from a overall framework perspective, from a systemic perspective, and adopting things that the whole organization is then going to participate in from the top down. So framing things that the executive team is going to adopt, and then it gets baked in, if you will, to all different departments and levels, as opposed to maybe set over aside in what used to be only the the lane of the HR director, for instance. So the fact that these new positions are coming on board give us a chance to step back and think about it from a larger perspective. And then conversely, Some of the other things I thought were really interesting was the actual sort of like deep impact on each of the people,
Mm,
and how when you are able to do this well, and we know that archetypes are a really fantastic mechanism that drop you very quickly into some of that inner space,
right.
that where from where all these skills either are drawn or grown and developed. And when we use something that allows us to show up and develop some of those hard soft skills,
Yeah.
that allows us to drop our posturing. So we don't have to show up and have this degree and that experience. We can show up and be a human being who is in a position to grow from wherever we're starting. And then we have the opportunity to hear each other in a real way. So it begins to solve some of the challenges that are the very reasons that the organizations are raising their hand to begin with and saying we need soft skills. It
Mm,
solves for teamwork. It helps us to build resiliency in individuals and their ability to adapt and change. Maybe they're changing because, you know, we have a digital transformation going on, or maybe they're changing because we have a pandemic going on. The skill set is kind of similar
yeah.
in what it calls for.
Yeah. Knowing who I am, what motivates me, how do I connect?
Right. And
Um,
then where are my challenging spots? And am I resilient enough to grow through them?
mm,
So yeah, it was a really robust conversation.
yeah. Very
Really.
ripe area for how to apply archetypes in
Yeah.
organizations
And
side
and
by side.
yeah, and one thought that we'll leave you with is one a little saying that came out of the conversation, which is sort of bridging the office work with the inner work.
Mm,
So something fun for you.
yeah, brilliant. All right.
Bye
We love talking culture with you, and we'll see you again soon.
bye.